Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Capitol. I'm Jason Adkins.
And I'm Maggee Hangge.
And we're excited to share with you a little bit about what's going on this week. So most of the committees have wrapped up their hearings, except in limited circumstances. What's really going on now at the Capitol is that bills are being packaged up and going through the finance committees to be heard and vetted in those committees for fiscal impact as they put together potential budget bills. Some policy gets wrapped up into those bills as well. So right now, in terms of the stage of the process as we head toward the end of the session on May 17th, it's to put these bills into bill packages so they can be put together for final negotiating between the House and the Senate. They'll have their respective positions and then negotiate some of those bills. You know, if you pay attention to the secular media, you hear about some of the things that are going to get done most likely, like some fraud prevention measures and a few other things. But in terms of bills that are policy related and finance related outside of a scope of narrow things that we know people agree on, it's going to be really hard to get things passed this session, but we are working on them. And one of our bills went through the Finance Committee today in the House. The Stop Harms of Addictive Social Media continues to truck forward. We're excited about that bipartisan bill. Yeah,
so we've been talking about this bill all session with legislators and have action alerts out on it. We encourage you to take action, but what this bill does is prohibits the most addictive features of social media for being available on child accounts. And we have a lot of concerns about the addiction that kids are facing, the mental health impacts, the impacts on their brain development. These young kids are more susceptible to falling into addiction, to creating negative patterns that are going to impact their whole life. So we think that should be stopped, and that companies actually can be regulated and can use the technology they're already using to help protect kids, not to have unfettered access to these kids without any repercussions. So this bill, like Jason said, it got heard in Ways and Means today, which is the last step it needs to be heard in before it goes to the House floor. And we were particularly excited because it's a Republican chief-authored bill with bipartisan support. The Democrats have been very supportive as well, and they're the ones who scheduled it to be heard today. So we're just really excited about the bipartisan enthusiasm for this bill and the support we're getting to really, like I said, protect kids online and put kids over big tech and big money.
So the bill will be heard in the Senate Judiciary Committee on Friday of this week, and it's got a lot of hurdles. Let's not sugarcoat it. We've got a long way to go in the legislative gauntlet. We talk about in the legislative process, you have to pass through various veto gates. And so you have to break through every single one of those gates, and at any step of the way, your bill can get stopped or amended or changed in a way that doesn't work. So we've got a long way to go, which is why Maggee underscored the importance of taking action. Go to our website, mncatholic.org, the Catholic Advocacy Network, to take action on bills, because nothing is done until it's signed into law. So there's all sorts of ways a bill can go sideways. And so we are excited about this bill, though, really hopeful about its future prospects, the bipartisan nature of the support, and the urgency right now, I think, to get something done to protect kids from harmful social media. So we're very, very excited about that bill, and we're monitoring a bunch of other things, and it's going to be quite a sprint here to the end of the session. But as always, stay tuned to the Inside the Capitol or the mncatholic.org Catholic Advocacy Network to stay up on what's going on. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't highlight Adoration at the Capitol, the last one of the session, first Friday, May 1st, 2026. We'll have 4 bishops in attendance, praying for our elected officials, praying for our state, praying for wisdom, and then bringing some of these intentions on important pieces of legislation forward.
Yeah, so join us for Adoration. We have an RSVP venue on our website. You can go there, RSVP. If you do that, then you'll get sent a parking pass that you can park in our lot. And we're just right across the street from the Capitol, so we encourage you to RSVP, follow those directions, and we'll get you over there pretty quick.
Exciting time at the Capitol. If you come down there, there'll be a lot of action as the House and the Senate are meeting more actively and for longer periods of time on the floor. So it'll be a really dynamic environment. I encourage everyone, especially to come down on May 1st for Adoration. Thanks so much for watching this week's edition. We'll see you again next week.